Thank you so much to everybody that's currently on the call. Hello, welcome. Great to have you guys here today. My name's Steven, and I'm really looking forward to spending about the next hour or so with you guys as we go through part two of our Beyond Price and Quality Webshop series, Project Management for Property Professionals. One thing I should mention, although this is part two, don't feel like because if you haven't seen the part one content, you guys are missing out entirely. All of the things we're going to be going through today are going to be directly relatable to you guys and your jobs and your day to day. That being said, this is a three-part series. Part one, we go through proper contract selection processes, seeing some of you guys that have been on our web shops in the past. Welcome. This is going to be part two. So once you guys have then selected that contractor, we're going to be taking you through project management throughout the process of that project. And then part three actually speaks to proper project closeout procedures, really that kind of final 5% that sometimes takes the most amount of time. But today, part two, we're going to be going through project management for property professionals. So really appreciate you guys joining us today. I know you have a lot going on. So on that note, let's dive in. But before we do, I actually just wanted to list and note a couple of quick housekeeping notes. So most notably, wanted to direct your attention to an exciting offer today. We will be giving away a $200 Amazon gift card after today's session. The rules of entry are very simple. Best question from today will win. So how do you do that? There is a drop down. If you guys actually go to the top of your page and select more, which is the three dots inside the circle, you're going to see a Q&A option. When you hit that, a Q&A box is going to come up. We'll be monitoring that. Please feel free to leverage that. And there's no limit to how many questions you guys can ask. And we're going to determine the winner of the session once today concludes. So also today, while this is a presentation, this session is really designed to be interactive. So feel free to jump in with questions or comments at any time. This is meant to be more of a conversation. We will have designated Q&A towards the end, but if something does come up, don't hesitate to ask either by using or just by using that Q&A function that we talked about. Don't worry about interrupting us. Like I said, this session is really for you guys. We're happy to take pause and address anything as it comes up. And no need to take extensive notes. You're welcome to, but we will be sending out a copy of today's presentation, as well as a recording of this session and some other key takeaways and tools that we're going to be getting into. So joining me on today's call, we've got Dave Nate, who's the founder and CEO of WCP Building Renewal. Dave, truly an industry veteran, bringing a wealth of knowledge with him to the call today. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, everybody. And maybe just so Steve and I know if we can see some thumbs up in the Q&A box, so we know that you guys have all found that, that'd be great.
Yeah, excellent. Nice. Okay, we've got people coming in. That's terrific to see. And as mentioned, I'm Steven, Business Development Manager. We're both really excited for you guys to be here today. Also joining us on the call, Lisa Garrett, our super administrator. She's actually just going to be monitoring the chat box, the Q&A box, rather, I should say. But yeah, great to see everybody here. And actually, as we're kind of getting in the process, just so we can get a bit more acquainted, use that Q&A box. Just let us know your name, the company you're coming from, your position, your title, if you'd like. These entries will go towards your potential to win the $200 Amazon gift card. So feel free to let us know. Okay, awesome. So as people are engaging with that, let's dive in. But before we do, question for the audience. First opportunity to win that gift card. Has anyone here done a project in the past with Wolfgang Commercial Painters? And the reason why I ask, this is sometimes a bit of a light bulb moment. And, we do get a lot of questions about our name. For instance, what the heck does WCP stand for? And it's not WCB, which sometimes I say at industry events and people literally walk the opposite direction for me. But WCP is an acronym for our original name, Wolfgang Commercial Painters. Just serves as a tribute to our 20 years in business. And I should note, guys, Not a dog and pony show. I don't want to spend too much time talking about us, but I do think it's important that we get acquainted. So the other thing you guys might be wondering, why have we added building renewal to our name? And what the heck is building renewal? It's a broad term. And honestly, that's a great question. So outlined on this slide are our two core project types and how we define building renewal. So that's the revitalization and restoration of a building's exterior and interior surfaces, which include high and low-rise building restorations and interior common area remodels. As it relates to our exterior services, okay, just reading these off the page quick, but we've got concrete, wood, metal restoration. Commercial painting still remains one of our core fundamental services for sure. Membranes, replace, renewal, application, repair, membranes of all types, sealants and caulking, waterproofing, being that we're in Vancouver, tons of waterproofing that needs to go on, as I'm sure you guys can fully relate to. Brick repointing, and then again, inspections, right? A lot of our projects begin with doing these high-level inspections. And on the note of inspections, I just wanted to note that this does include our ability to review depreciation reports, which I know you guys may get from third-party consultants from time to time. And likewise, if you're looking for depreciation reports, we've got some great relationships in place with engineering firms. So if you are looking for referrals, please let us know. And then, yeah, interior services. Yes, we do interiors. We do interior work, which is another question we get quite often. Drywall and texture repair, commercial painting, of course, finished carpentry, wall coverings protection, and then as well, we do design consultations. So yeah, this slide, kind of self-explanatory, just represents a handful of our clients and our partnerships. I'm seeing some of you guys on the call today that are representing some of the brands that we have on the page. Welcome to you guys. Great to see you here. But yeah, we're really proud of these. A lot of these brands you see here have been our clients for a number of years. In some cases, we've been working alongside these brands for over 20 years. So that just kind of goes to show the value that we hold in maintaining strong relationships. So before I pass things off to Dave and we dive into the core content for today, I just wanted to outline the purpose of today's session and some of the things that you guys can come to expect to learn, hopefully learn and walk away with. So we're going to discuss pre-production and site meetings, the nuances surrounding those, who should be there, time and frequency, and then some other details surrounding that aspect of what will be your project management. We're also going to walk through proper project closeout procedures from a high level. Remember, we do have a full presentation on proper project closeout procedures, but we are going to touch on it today. Okay, that will be part 3 of our webinar. I'll touch base on that a little bit more towards the end. But the other thing we're going to do today is address the role of AI in your workflow and how you can integrate that into your day-to-day processes if you haven't already. And then lastly, throughout this presentation, we are going to be outlining pitfalls as well as red flags, just for you to keep your eye on to help you avoid project disasters. Okay, that's enough from me for now. Dave, I wanted to pass it back to you. Go ahead. He's going to take us through stage 1, which is the pre-production meeting. Dave, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Steve. And hi, everybody. And again, thanks for your time. Just before I dive in, just going to double click on a couple of things that Steve mentioned there. Number one being our name. So yeah, even though we launched, rebranded as WCP Building Renewal over a year ago now, we still get a lot of questions on it. So for 2 decades, we were known as Wolfgang Commercial Painters. It's the same great team, same great crews now as WCP Building Renewal. But yeah, I just want to let everybody know because there still seems to be a bit of confusion in the marketplace. Yeah, so just thought I would touch on that point again. So the pre-production meeting. So this is the first of 3 stages to successful project management. We've taken the entire process of project management and broken it down to 3 key areas that if you get right, as someone who's tasked with overseeing projects for your clients, you're likely going to have a really successful job. And how do we measure a successful job? Well, it's done on time and it's done on budget, and your customer, the person paying the bill, is happy. All right. But the pre-production meeting in construction, we talk about, any job type, whether it's a concrete repair or roofing or a sealant job or a painting project. It's all about the prep work. This is your prep work to a successful meeting. If a successful project, you get this part right, you're doing your prep, you're setting yourself up for a successful project. All right. Um, let's take a look at the next slide here. And what we've done for you throughout this, sorry, Steve, there we go. Thank you. We've broken it down into three steps. So, or three key items: the timing and attendance, the key outcomes of the meeting, and the support tools. So we're going to provide you with tools. We're going to share them with you that you can use as resources to guide you through this meeting and all the other steps we're going to talk about. And I just want to say, the best practices we're going to share with you apply to all job types. So whether it's a relatively small project, say $10,000, or all the way up to a $2 million project, these are tools that project management professionals use across the board. So whether it's a roofing or landscaping or painting or perhaps a asphalt project, whatever it is, you can apply these tools. So very transferable. Okay, so let's dive right into the first key bullet: timing and attendance. So the pre-production meeting, when should you do it? Well, you should be scheduling this meeting 2 to 4 weeks before a project starts. So well in advance, because at this meeting, you're going to uncover a lot of different things that yourself, your customer, and your contractor needs to deal with before production actually begins. So the sooner the better. Not too far in advance, but 2 to 4 weeks I think is good for any project. And who needs to be there? Well, this is really key that at this particular meeting you get all the stakeholders there and they're there in person. So who are the key stakeholders in any project? Well, first and foremost, it's the decision makers. Okay, so the customers, the people who are going to be signing the checks or watching the funds vacate their bank account as the project goes on. You need to have them there to make sure that all of their questions are answered. In doing so, you will minimize the amount of work and minimize the amount of emails you get and questions you need to answer after the fact. Of course, your contractor is going to be there and they're key people, usually their crew lead or their project manager. If you've got any consultants involved or engineers, they're going to be there. They might be the one running the meeting. If you don't, and you are the one running the meeting, you are the designated project manager, of course, you're going to be there. If you have anybody on your operations team related to the property, they're going to have to be there as well. So this is the one meeting where I'm going to say bring everybody together, and then we're going to talk about doing it again at the very end of the project, bringing everybody together. But that's key. You're going to save yourself a lot of time and heartache. Okay, let's look at what needs to be covered at this pre-production meeting. So here's your key outcomes. You're going to verify the scope of work. So let me ask you guys a question. And if you can answer in the Q&A, thumbs up or yes or whatever, who has awarded a project to a contractor, gone over their proposal, everybody's agreed, and then the job starts and you start getting questions about what's included, what's excluded, what's a part of the scope of work? Because we know this. Okay, great. We're seeing some responses there. This is a common pain point in the industry. A job starts and the people involved still aren't 100% sure what is included and excluded. So here, this is why you review it at the pre-production meeting. Okay, just to make sure we're all on the same page. And the reason why you do it in person is because you will finally have everybody's full attention. The job is about to start, and the key decision makers are now going to be invested to make sure that they're getting what they're paid for. Okay, so that's why suddenly you get people's attention. The communication strategy. So how are you going to communicate progress on this job as it progresses? And who's responsible for that? Is the contractor going to send you weekly summaries that you're going to then review and send out to the owners? Or is the contractor sending the summaries to you as the project manager or property manager and the owners all in one communication? How do you want that done? You got to designate that at this meeting. Roles are clarified. So for instance, if you have an operations team on the site, say it's a commercial property, a high rise or warehouse with tenants, what are their roles? How is the contractor going to communicate with your operations team? Day to day, are they going to be communicating with them or with you or both? You gotta define that at the meeting. Project start date and schedule is confirmed. So at this meeting, you likely already have a start date sort of penciled in, but you're gonna nail that down, and then you're gonna get a feel for how long the project is gonna take. Okay. Site logistics. This is a really important one, especially on busy sites, both strata and commercial. Where's the equipment going to be staged? Where are the site trailers going? Where's the mobile toilet going? If the crew doesn't have any of that, where are they parking? Right? What about keys? What about sign-in procedures? All that gets handled and reviewed at this meeting. And of course, the change order process. Get ahead of this stuff. Change orders, nobody loves them, right? Especially on the owner's side, but they are likely to come up in most projects, or at least maybe be suggested along the way from either side. What is that process going to be? If they are identified, how do people get notified? How are they signed off? How is it agreed upon? And you want to get that tidied up at this meeting. And then, of course, any tenant needs. So is there scheduling items that you need to consider with certain tenants, whether it be strata or commercial? Maybe there's some areas that can only be accessed at certain times of the day. In strip malls, a perfect example would be drive-throughs. Maybe there's a bank and anchor tenant in there that doesn't want any disruption during certain hours. Whatever it might be, you got to handle that at the meeting. Okay, so we've put together a form for you to make this super easy. Pre-production form. We're going to send this to you in various formats. You can feel free to just use our form. Feel free to add to it, or feel free to take some of our key items and just apply it to yours if you have a form that you're already using. Tried to make this as easy as possible for you. So before we get to the next slide, we're going to talk about a red flag here, or a pitfall. Given everything we just discussed, what would some areas, or an area that you see that would be missed in this pre-production meeting that would potentially sidetrack the project, or at least ensure that you're not getting started on the right foot? Anybody got any ideas there? Key items that might be missed along the way? Okay.
I've got a couple here. Contractors not sure about project outline and action items. We've got another one just relates to schedule.
Yeah.
Sam, another comment says washrooms was something I missed recently. That has definitely happened. Yeah.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah. I'll tell you, the key thing to this whole process, whether you follow the forms and check all the boxes and get everything done, is getting the stakeholders there and in attendance. So if they do not attend, Steve, you want to advance the slide? Thank you.
Yeah.
If they do not attend, you're going to have problems. What's going to happen is you're going to do the meeting, and you're going to get a flurry of emails from people. When are they starting? What about this? What about this? And things that maybe were missed from either the contractor side or your side, that you then have to start the communication chain again. The mobile toilet was a perfect example, right? Maybe the contractor says, "Oh shoot, I forgot. We got to bring in a toilet. Where can we place it? Oh, got to go back to site, figure out a good spot," all that stuff. If all the decision makers aren't there, those details are going to be missed. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So there you go. That's the pre-production meeting. Remember, look at it like the prep work of the job, laying a good foundation for the job to be built out or progress smoothly. And you do that well, and you're really setting yourself up for success.
Great. Yeah. Well, thanks, Dave. So before we dive into stage two, we're going to talk a little bit more about the site meetings. But before we do, I just wanted to note we've been offering lunch and learn sessions for clients. I think, gosh, this year alone, I think we've done about 10 since the beginning of January. So these sessions, I mean, they're tailored. No two sessions are going to be the same. We're more than happy to come in, present to you, your office, whether that's part one, contractor selection process, the content we're going through today, which is project management, of course, or part three, proper project closeouts, or something else entirely. So if you oversee continued learning at your office or want to put me in touch with the individual that is, just type in the Q&A box right now, just interested. More than happy to reach out to you guys afterwards. We'll come in, love to engage with your team, and also, we'll provide a great lunch on us as well. So, okay. Just had Dave walk us through how to set the foundation for a successful project during the pre-production stage. So now we're going to move into stage two, which is the site meeting. So what is a site meeting really about at a high level? It's about ensuring that everything is agreed upon. The expectations, scope, and the project details is actually being delivered throughout the production process. So this is where we're going to keep things on track and address any issues before they become bigger problems. So we're going to go through some key tips, some tools, and a simple template to help you guys make the most out of these meetings. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking like, wait, what the heck? Now I got to do site meetings too with everything else that I have going on. But here's the thing. Like Dave mentioned earlier, the pre-production meeting is going to be the most critical part for you to be directly involved in. When it comes to more complex projects, site meetings can be valuable for all stakeholders. But if you can't always be there, that's okay, as long as the steps we're about to cover are followed. So with that in mind, let's dive in. So similar to what we've seen in stage one, and a continued theme kind of throughout this entire presentation, but we're going to talk about site meetings. We're going to start off and talk about the timing and the frequency. What are the best practices on that front? Then we're going to move into key outcomes and identify what you want to get accomplished through the site meetings. And then finally, we're going to give you guys a template that you can use to adapt in your own projects. Okay, so first one, timing and frequency. So first, the schedule. As a best practice, weekly meetings are ideal to keep everything on track, but frequency should be determined based on the size and the complexity of the project. So it could be less often for smaller projects or even more frequent as needed. But the key here is to define this up front. And ideally, that's going to happen during the pre-production stage. So if there's alignment, and that's just making sure that there's alignment from the start. But a great approach to this that we've found is just set a consistent time and day, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or you're looking at specific dates kind of throughout the project. But this is going to ensure that you keep everything predictable and everybody's going to be able to prioritize it. Now, who should be involved? So no surprises here. It's the key stakeholders, right? We've spoken to this, but this is going to include decision makers, contractors, consultants, site contacts, and project manager if that's not yourself, right? And some people may need to attend every single meeting, especially if some people may not need to attend every meeting, especially if they're not directly involved in the day-to-day production, but just make sure that the right people are in the room when they need to be. Okay, so now that we've covered schedule and attendees, let's move into the key outcomes that we're going to look at from these meetings. So these are just going to be high-level priorities that we need to cover to keep the project on track. And first, we start with updates to the scope, updates on the scope of work and progress. So the goal here is going to be simple. Get a clear understanding of where things stand, right? What's been completed, what is in process, what's progress look like? Are there any deviations from the original plan? These discussions are just going to assure alignment and keep everyone on the same page. Next, we're going to be focusing on confirming the schedule and project completion dates. So Delays are going to be one of the biggest frustrations as any project, as I'm sure you guys can directly relate to. And I'm sure many of you guys experience this, right? You're suddenly told a project is a month behind and you're thinking, wait a second, where the heck did this even come from, right? But by addressing schedules proactively in site meetings, we can avoid these surprises. So if there are potential delays, whether due to weather, I mean, we're in Vancouver, it's notorious for that, right? Whether it's supply chain issues or just unforeseen circumstances, who knows what's going on with the economy at the time. Having these open discussions early allow us to manage expectations and adjust where needed. Okay, a great example of this actually happened to us on a project we did just about last year. So we were replacing the entire building envelope of a rather large church. So it was a comprehensive job, removing the siding, replacing it with hardy board. And once we had started, we discovered some of the rot underneath the old siding. So not ideal, but not uncommon either. So because of our regular site meetings, we were actually able to quickly discuss with the client, explain what our recommendation was, and get approval to address the issue without really causing any sort of major delays. So these kinds of discussions with your client or with the clients, they're just going to help keeping projects moving forwards efficiently. And that brings us to another key point, addressing change orders as they happen. And they do happen, right? Unexpected issues are going to come up, and it's just a reality of construction projects. But what's important is having a plan in place and how you're planning to handle them. The best approach in our suggestion, just be proactive, right? Identify potential roadblocks early and work with your team to control ultimately what you can control. And then lastly, to confirm a summary of weekly updates. So ideally, this should be done via email as a best practice, but communication methods are going to vary depending on the relationship you have with your contractor or your property manager, whoever it may be, right? Like some people like to engage with us over WhatsApp, text. It's going to vary, but the goal here is to ensure that everyone has clear takeaways from each meeting and that action items are followed through. So just by keeping key outcomes at the center of your site meetings, you'll be able to be in the best position to manage challenges, keep projects on track, maintain strong communication with stakeholders. Okay, so next form that we have here, we have our site meeting form on the page, right? And like in the pre-production section, this is just a template that can be used. And I will be sending this to the team, to everybody on the call afterwards. It's not going to look exactly like this. It'll be slightly different than the template you see here, but easily adaptable, right? And hopefully it's just going to provide you a guideline of administrative details that can help you out given whatever your specific project is going to be. Okay, so we're going to move into our next pitfall, okay, of this particular stage that I wanted to flag. Just posing a quick question to the audience that's with us here today. What would you imagine would be a pitfall if we're having weekly meetings as we've planned out, you guys are well organized on your side. What would you say would be a major pitfall based on what we've just gone through? Okay, seen a couple things come through. Nice. So yeah, I mean, major pitfall, right, is going to be just a lack of clear weekly summaries. And I'm seeing a couple more other ones come in here, right? Major pitfall would be not talking about budgets. That's also going to be a huge one, right? Bill, yeah, if new issues are arise during the course of work that require additional tasks, how will the cost of this portion be calculated? 100%, right? Like these are all really, really good points. Sam, I see another question that just came through from you. Maybe we'll touch on that towards our Q&A section, but I know you also just commented, right? For you being able to accurately follow up on the contractor's project, we're not experts. 100% you're not, right? And that's again where these clear weekly summaries honestly are going to be your saving grace. Okay, look, it happens. It's not ideal, right? You could have these meetings every single week, but they don't get summarized effectively with clear action items. And this is going to lead to misalignment and contribute to project delays. It happens, right? Task someone with making sure a comprehensive meeting summary, if it's not you, is distributed to all key stakeholders, okay? This is also going to be extremely helpful for anyone that wasn't able to attend or perhaps may miss one of the delays, right? Chris, another good point, not knowing long long lead items and getting those shop drawings submittals for in review. Yeah, 100%. Okay. So we've got a couple really good pitfalls. For us, though, making sure that these weekly summaries are clear, sent, distributed to all key stakeholders. That's going to keep alignment with everyone. So by a show of hands, keep in mind, I'm seeing some really, really good engagement from the Q&A today, which is fantastic to see. $200 Amazon gift card on the line. Quick question to everybody that's on the call. Who here is adopting or using AI in their day-to-day, whether it's from a professional standpoint or a personal standpoint? And maybe you're using one of these logos or one of these platforms that's on the page today, whether it's ChatGPT, Grok. To be honest, if you're leveraging Google now, everybody's using AI because Gemini has started to produce answers for people that are doing just simple Google searches now, right? But for us, AI is massive, and it can be massive as well for you guys with these workflows, especially for what we just went through. So ChatGPT, this is a prompt, or this is a platform that I prefer to use. So what we did is we actually looked at, okay, site meetings, and, prior to going to that site meeting, specifically for this, in this example, we used a sealant project. Before I'm going, I just want to make sure I have a comprehensive checklist. So when I go on site, I'm making sure that everything that needs to be discussed is going to be touched on. So prompt was, if you were a project manager for this project, right? We went in, you can go into details of the project. The more detail oriented you are with your prompts, I promise the better, the more detail oriented answer that you guys are going to get. What would you look for when you go to site, right? Give me 4 specifics of this project site I should be looking for, inspecting, and reviewing with the contractor to ensure an efficient site meeting. And all it did was put up, a pretty comprehensive list of some easy to follow checklist items, scope of works and execution, right? What are the nuances surrounding that? Water testing and leak confirmation, right? There's obviously some specifics surrounding that. Safety and compliance, another massive one that you guys need to obviously check in with any contractor that you guys are using. Site logistics and cleanup. Now, the answer we got was a lot more comprehensive than this, but we cleaned it up just to make sure that it looked okay on a slide as we're presenting it to you guys. So last thing I'll say on AI, I know some of you guys might be thinking like, hey, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't think I need AI. I've got a really good process in place. To you, I would challenge you to say, try AI just once, because it's going to tell you one of 2 things. Either one, everything you're currently doing is correct and you have all boxes ticked. You're as smart as AI. So congrats to you guys, right? But what I would also say, if you're not using AI, try it as well, because it could also point out some things in your workflow or in your process that you might be missing. So you're only going to stand to benefit. The other nice thing about AI, these tools and templates that we're sending to you guys, once you filled those out, you can directly upload them as a PDF right into your chat or into your prompt. And that way it's going to read that as well as the prompt that you're going to give it. You're going to get some really, really cool stuff coming out of that. So good to see that some of you guys, I'm just looking at the Q&A box, are leveraging AI. Love to see that. And if you're not, yeah, give it a shot. Okay. So I'm going to pass things off to Dave. He's going to take us through the final stage here, which is going to be the job close. And then as well, Dave's going to take us through a review, just a quick review of everything we touched on today. Then we're going to get to our dedicated Q&A session. So Dave, go ahead, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Steve. So yeah, we talked about pre-production meeting, that's your prep. Site meetings, those go as the job's progressing, and then you're getting near the end of the project. Everybody gets excited, happy to get the contractors out of their hair, just to have their place back to themselves, no more interruption, all that stuff. The job close, okay? So we're going to go into the 3 key items of a job close to do it effectively. Question for you. You guys. So this is a job close meeting. We're going to talk about getting everybody involved there. Do you think this meeting will be the final inspection? Yes or no? If you can put it in the Q&A box, let me know if you think yes, at this one meeting, you're going to do your final inspection, or no, you're not. What do you think?
We've got no in caps.
Great. Okay. Excellent. We've got some experienced project managers or people that have been in the industry for a while. It is not the final inspection, okay? And the expectation should be set that this is not the final inspection. This is the meeting to prepare for a very efficient and effective final inspection where essentially you're just ticking boxes and being like, great job, handshake, hug it out, we're out, right? So this is to set up for that final inspection. So let's look at some of the keys here. We're going to look at timing and attendance. We're going to look at key outcomes and essential templates. So there's a theme here. We're giving you guys a template for each stage. We're giving you key outcomes for each stage. So timing and attendance. This is where good weekly summaries come into play, okay? If there's good weekly summaries being distributed either from the contractor to you, out to the owners, or from the contractor to everybody, whatever you've agreed on, you're going to know when you're coming into the phase where it's time to get together and do that initial review. So at least 1 week in advance of the contractor saying they're going to be done or substantially complete. So you're gonna show up on site. There's obviously still going to be some stuff to do, but you're real close to getting this thing across the line. So that's what I suggest. And you need to give people notice to attend this meeting. So it's not like, hey, I want to do this meeting tomorrow. Can you meet us after work type thing? Give them notice to prepare for it because there's going to be a lot of questions. This meeting is going to take, an hour and a half, something like that. So people got to know 1 week in advance of for the contractor's projection to being fully done. Okay. Let's look at some of the key outcomes. So this is what you're trying to accomplish at this meeting. The stakeholders agree that the scope of work is substantially complete. So substantial completion, you know, you can look look at the nitty-gritty of it. It's anywhere from 95 to 98% complete. Okay. So there's still going to be some items to do, but the major scope is substantially complete. There is not any surprises. Like, oh, wait a second. You're doing the railings, but aren't you doing the rooftop flashing as well on the elevator room at the top of the high rise? Nope, that wasn't included in the scope. That's gonna lead to a pretty important discussion, right? So you're just agreeing like, yeah, the meat and potatoes of the project has been done. That's great. You're gonna walk around and you're gonna note some deficiencies. Some of them are just stuff that the contractor likely hasn't got to, or they've already flagged themselves, but you're gonna start building that punch list. If it's like 10 pages long, this meeting happened way too soon. There should just be a few key items that get noted or that people just need to pay attention to. Okay. You're going to go over the demobilization process. What is demobilization? So at the beginning of the job, we mobilize, we stage. It doesn't matter what project it is, a roofer, paver, painting company, landscaping company, they're going to have an area where they stage the project. So that's where storage goes, maybe bins go, mobile toilets, aerial equipment, scaffolding parts get staged. What is the plan to get all that stuff off site? And when is that going to happen? So the owners and tenants get their property back. Okay, so you want to agree to that, and that needs to be documented and put in writing. And then a plan for the completion documents. So this is one item where projects can really drag on. When you're working with a professional contractor, you should be getting at the end your completion certificate, which includes all the building materials that were used and documented, where they were purchased. For instance, paint codes, what are the color codes, all that for touch-ups down the road. You should be getting a warranty certificate that clearly lays out the date the warranty starts and ends, when what's included and excluded, statement of accounts, final invoicing. If you work with us, you get a bunch of other goodies like maintenance manuals and all this stuff. So lots of things that should be taken care of, and those should be coming to you when the job is done, not weeks after. The job is officially done when you've received all those documents. Okay. Another one that you might request is a statutory declarations from your contractor. You got to let them know. Don't surprise them last minute that you need that. Let them know there's a bit of a process going through notaries to get those done. Okay, so just if you need it, no problem, not a big deal. Just let your contractor know. Okay, so those are the key outcomes. Again, we've put together a real simple form for you guys to use, our job close form. We're going to be sharing it with you. And Steve, you want to just move along the slides there?
Yep. Sorry.
Great, thank you. We're going to be sharing it with you, and please utilize it, adapt it, add some key things to yours of whatever tool or form you're using. And just so you know, these forms can be used in digital or on paper, whatever you want. It's simply built in Excel. You can adapt it to sheets if you want, whatever, or PDF for printing, whatever you need. Okay, so super user friendly. All right, so any ideas on sort of the item that would make a job close meeting go sideways or not effective or perhaps have to do it again? Let's see some of your thoughts in the Q&A. Who's got some thoughts? Oh man, you missed this step, you're in trouble. Or you missed this step, you might as well have not been there. Or you missed this step, you're gonna be following up and making a bunch of phone calls and emails. What have we got? What do you guys think? Okay, we're seeing some stuff come in there. That's great. Some good ideas. Okay, great. Let's just flip the slide here and see what we got. This is the key red flag or pitfall. If you do this meeting too early, a lot of people are going to have egg on their face. Likely yourself as the project manager or property manager, or the contractor or the consultant, right? Because the owners are going to show up and be like, what the heck? This thing isn't even close to being done. So how do you avoid this? You communicate effectively through those weekly summaries with the contractor. You double check with them and say, hey, you said you're getting close. Is it ready to schedule a job close meeting? And if they say, yep, then away you go. You get it scheduled. But if you do it too early, really what that means is you're likely going to have to do it again. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we talked about utilizing AI, and I noticed in the Q&A earlier, there was some great questions or prompts like saying, hey, we're not the experts. How do we hold the contractor accountable, or how do we know if they're doing the right thing? Great questions. And we hear this from property managers or people working for property groups or property administrators. They don't know what to look for when they go to do a job close because they're not a contractor, they're not a subject matter expert, whether it be roofing or balcony restoration or a membrane project, whatever it might be. This is where AI is a huge advantage for you. Okay, so you can go from not knowing what you're talking about to being dangerous in terms of walking the walk and talking the talk when you go to these job sites, the shop talk with the contractors. So here's some idea of prompting you can do. So upload the proposal of the job that you're doing, upload maybe some of the weekly summaries, and say, hey, based on this proposal and these weekly summaries, what should I be looking at to close out this job? Can you build me out a checklist of things that I should do? And it will do it. Okay, it'll pop out a beautiful detailed checklist for you. Check on this, and this. A lot of this stuff is captured in our job close form, but each job is different, and you might be using different trades, different job types. So some detailed stuff can come out for you. You can see some of the answers here. Like for instance, this was prompting on an overbeating project that we did. So, you're going to want to check the expansion joints, the window door perimeter sealants, that overbeating is completed. If there was any concrete repairs, that those were completed. You're going to looking at the quality and inspection bullet 2 there. It says proper adhesion, tooling, clean finish confirmed. So if you're like, well, I don't know how to check for adhesion or tooling, I don't know what they should look like, ask AI. What does proper adhesion look like? Is there a test for that? What does proper tooling of sealant look like? Or what should I be looking for? How do I confirm there's a clean finish? You will get great answers there that you can just query your contractor on. So fantastic tool to arm you with some knowledge when you go into these meetings. And we have another slide here that shows you some bullets that I came up with on site cleanup and how to hand off and document the project that it is fully closed. So, but again, you just keep prompting. What else should I look for? Okay, on client sign off. How do I get proper client sign off? What are some of the things I should do? What are the best practices? You'll get some great stuff. So there you go. We've taken you through pre-production meeting, your prep for a job to go well, site meetings, that's the ongoing progress, and then that final job close to prepare for that final inspection and handing the job off back to your owners, the property back to the owners. So let's do a review here and just go through some of the key things. So the next slide, Steve, key takeaways, pre-production, make sure all the stakeholders are attending. If there's one thing I can say, take it away from this meeting, is make sure you get all the stakeholders at the pre-production meeting. That will save you time and headache and hassle all the way through. At the site meeting, make sure you're getting a weekly summary from your contractor or your consultant, or you're building it up and distributing it. Whoever is responsible for doing that, obviously the contractor is going to play a key role. Make sure you're getting those summaries weekly. Some of them are just going to be like quick updates. Others will be more comprehensive. Okay. But if you keep that going, everybody's stress level lowers. Because there's no like, what's going on the job? How come they haven't done this? How come that hasn't been done? When are they getting to my unit? It really helps out. And then the job close, at that job close meeting where you hit all your outcomes, you document when the project is going to be complete, fully demobilized, everything is passed off back to the owners in great shape. So that's key. Okay. And then just your red flags, just a reminder of these. Again, we've hammered this one home, but we see it in the marketplace a lot. Not having stakeholders in attendance just leads to a lot of problems. Lack clear weekly summaries, so not an ongoing communication path. Again, it adds stress to the owners, to the tenants. When are they getting to my area? How come they haven't got to me yet? If there's summaries being distributed, those questions are minimized. And then that early job close, doing that job close meeting too early just leads to frustration and sometimes embarrassment. So just make sure you're communicating with your contractor to do that job close when they feel they are substantially complete. So there you go. In 35 minutes or 40 minutes, we've transferred years of project management knowledge to you. So yeah, we'll jump into the Q&A here and answer some questions for you.
That's great. Yeah, thank you, Dave. And I know everybody in attendance, that's kind of like drinking water from a fire hose, but tons of great content here. And honestly, some really, really good questions kind of coming throughout. So we're going to have probably about the next, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes together, kind of depending. So yeah, if you have questions about the presentation itself, perhaps you've got a question about a project that's ongoing that, there's some aspect of it you're not quite sure of, please feel free to use this time. We're here to answer your guys' questions to the best of our ability. And lastly, I would say, because we do have quite a few questions to get through here, if we do fall short on time, don't stress. I'm going to be following up with you guys directly. So any questions we're not able to address on the call, I'll reach out to you. But diving in, this one, Dave, was actually asked, and maybe this would be a quick one, but this was asked right at the beginning by Sam. Do you do 2, 5, and 10-year warranty inspections for new buildings?
No, we do not. Answer that one quickly for you.
Perfect. There you go. Larry, who actually had to step away from the call, but he asked a good question worth answering. Do you ever use construction management software to help?
Yeah, for sure. And there's a ton out there. And it can help. They are very complex, and pretty in depth. So if you are a designated project manager, you will. But if you're a property manager that's tasked with this, I would say it can be a lot of work to get involved in those things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. So this next one again from Sam. Question is, what is the best practice for having a presence on site? She noted that I don't have the expertise of the contractor, nor do I want to be in the way, nor do I want to micromanage, which is a good point, but still want to be impactful. Are remote weekly updates enough? Should you request pictures as a part of the update? Maybe you can speak to that, Dave.
Yeah, pictures are great. So we use a great app called Company Cam. It's super popular in the marketplace. So when we provide our weekly summaries, we provide links to photos, all documented, marked up. Pictures speak a thousand words, as they say. So it's great. And sorry, the other part of the question was who's on site or who should be designated on site?
Other part of the question, hold on, let me just find it because I had dismissed it here. Second part of the question was just in regard, yeah, it doesn't want to be in the way, doesn't want to micromanage, but still wants to be impactful, right? So question was like, are remote weekly updates going to be enough?
It can be. I mean, we do FaceTime visits with our customers all the time. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have the time to get there, if you don't want to micromanage, and this is not about micromanage, this is about making sure things big picture are being delivered. But yeah, if you can do it remotely, or someone on your ops team who's there on site can attend with the contractor, that can be great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and good question too. Yeah, next one coming in from Bill Yang. Good to see you, Bill. If new issues arise during the course of the work that require additional tasks, how will cost for this portion be calculated?
Right. So that's we talked about that change orders at the beginning. So at the pre-production meeting, you're going to identify the process for how change orders will be sort of uncovered or dealt with or prompted. Like, hey, we came across this, we noticed this on your building. We can fix that for you if you want while the team is here. Here's going to be the cost, and then you need a process for the owners to sign off on that.
Mhm.
So they're not just getting invoiced at the end of the job with, we did these extra things for you, by the way, there's another 6 grand of work. You do not want that, right? So it should be identified, costed, and then signed off on yes or no if we're proceeding. And it happens on the vast majority of projects. Like the last thing you want is for a contractor to be on a high rise on a swing stage and say they're doing like a window perimeter sealant replacement. And as they're going down, they're seeing concrete spalls all over the place. You want them to let you know about that. You don't want them to come down, demob the swing stage, and then be like, "Oh, by the way, we saw a concrete spall there. You might want to deal with that at some point." You've just added a bunch of costs to getting that concrete repaired down the road. So
Mhm.
can be a really good thing for potential other items to be identified by your contractor. It can save you money in
Mhm.
terms of not having to remobilize on a new job.
Yeah, and an extension of that as well, Dave. Bill had a follow-up question. Since cost is biggest concern for everyone, I'm not sure we do, but he asked, do you have any statistics or an average percentage showing how much the final cost typically differs from your initial quote based on our past projects? I don't know if that's something you can speak to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw another question on this 10 to 20% for contingencies. I do think that's fair. It depends on the job type. So, for instance, like restoration projects where we're taking apart a building and repairing it, like repairing rebar and all that, you don't know what's going on as you start to, cut out concrete and hilti it out until you get there. If you're, for instance, removing a membrane, you don't know what's going on underneath. So that 10 to 20% mark is fair. Now, That being said, for instance, like a painting project where everybody's clear on exactly what scope needs to be done, and you know what substrate you're painting, and you've specified the products you're using, 20% is probably a little high. So it depends on the job, but definitely building in a contingency is a good thing. We always recommend that our customers do that. And we don't utilize it all the time. The vast majority of the projects just come in as where we've quoted them. But for some jobs, especially restoration type jobs, you're gonna get some changes for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that speaks well to Travis Hill's question where he mentioned, definitely sees job quotes allocating 10 to 20% of the quote for contingencies, right? So, the numbers do seem very arbitrary, as you mentioned, but usually don't specify what the contingencies are to expect. So the question was, shouldn't companies be quoting on these projects, have a fairly precise idea of what can require additional expense during the project? But I think you just spoke to that quite well. So I'm not sure if there's any other additional items you wanted to speak to, but
That's good. Yeah.
yeah. Cool. Okay. We're coming to the four to 11:30. I'm
Let's
seeing a
maybe
couple.
let's maybe do a couple more here, Steve. There's some really good questions here.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
think we've got time for a couple more. So I'm not sure if there's any you're seeing in the Q&A, Dave.
well,
You
I
want to?
see Alexander's talked about unit prices being defined. So this is to change orders. So unit prices is like, how much to replace a door, how much to do a linear foot of sealant, how much per square foot of membrane. So yeah, unit prices can be really helpful to help people just feel confident that when a change order comes, like for instance, a membrane, it's this much per square foot to remove membranes. So you're doing a job and they come across other membranes that need to be removed. It's less surprise. One a caveat I'll say on unit pricing is you need to make sure your unit pricing is apples to apples from all your contractors. So I'll give you an example. Linear foot for per square foot for exterior painting. Okay. Does that include the rental in it? Does that include all labor and materials? Right? Does that include project management fees associated with it? So if you're getting unit pricing and they're varying, don't just automatically assume the high unit price is should be thrown out. It could just be that contractor actually allocated for everything within that unit price, and they might be your best contractor there. So just keep that in mind. But unit pricing can help. I'm just giving you the caveat on it.
Uh, Dave, really quick, maybe we can touch on this briefly, but Bill has asked, is there any warranty on the work our team has completed?
Oh yes, absolutely. So all of our jobs come with warranties anywhere from 2 to 5 years, depending on the project and what we're doing for you. And yeah, whether we're doing concrete repairs or membranes or painting or sealants, the warranty at a bare minimum is 2 years, sometimes all the way up to 5 on labor and materials. Yeah.
Great. So we do have two outstanding questions. I don't know. Do you want to do a quick speed round, 30-second speed round?
Sure.
Okay. So question from Chris. If we receive monthly progress claim from general contractor, what is the best way to know if their progress that they are claiming for is correct? One thing is that property owners do not like getting invoices that are front end loaded. So how do we determine what is reasonable, and how do we explain this to the GC from our perspective, even though we may not know as much as they do when
Right.
it comes to construction? Yeah.
Right. So great opportunity to prompt AI, right? And say, like, this is what the contractor said is done. What do I look for to make sure this is done? What are some of the steps? You could use that. But in your invoicing, you should be requesting, hey, look, percent of job complete, detailed items that are complete, elevations that they've been working on. If there's a bunch of different line items in your project, just say which line items are done and how much of that is done. That will help make you feel more confident. Okay. And also, no, most contractors are going to be asking for a deposit up front, and that's so they can source materials, prepare for the project. That's absolutely industry standard. So that's okay. That's just a normal standard process. So yeah.
Great. Last one from Sam. I can't leave one hanging here, and I know we're coming. We're over time now, but that's okay. We'll be quick. Sam's question: how do you follow up with unexpected costs that aren't in the scope or noted in a change order? There's an example here. For example, we needed pot lights installed and certain wiring, which involved opening drywall. The drywall was left to open at project close at our cost. What was this just a pitfall during the change order process we wanted to approve to avoid delay?
Yeah, this is where the site meetings are key, right? And if you're with a contractor that maybe they're super busy, they're not communicating all these things, it is just the simple prompt of, hey, is there anything that we're going to be left with at the end? Is there anything that we've contracted you for that is that you're not going to be able to do, any surprises I should know about, any extra costs. So if you're asking them in advance, then that avoids the unwanted surprise at the end of an extra $6,000 extra invoice as the project's done, and then you've got a conflict on your hands.
Well, Dave, I think we've got our work cut out for us on who's going to get the Amazon gift card
Definitely,
at the end
great
of this,
question.
because there's some really good questions coming in. I'm sure there's going to be more. So if you guys have outstanding questions, we're here as a resource, right? So just looking at some next steps, I'll be quick. We are going to be sending you guys the copy of this deck in case you wanted to revisit anything, a recording of this session if you guys would like to run it back and take a closer look at anything. And then as well, the tools, all three tools that we went through with you guys today, we'll be sending those to you guys as a clear takeaway. The other thing, contact us. I'm seeing some names here where we do some great projects with you guys. We're looking forward to continue work with you guys. But likewise, there's people in this call we've actually never done work with before. So, if you have upcoming projects or anything you would like us to take a closer look at that align with the services that we went through earlier on, reach out to us directly. We would love the opportunity to work with you guys. And then lastly, lunch and learns, right? If you found this valuable, if you want us to come in and chat with your office, run through this presentation or a variety of other ones, let me know. And we'd love to come in and connect with your team a little bit more. Last but certainly not least, our marquee client event is upcoming this Saturday, May the 10th at Hastings Racecourse and Casino. I'm seeing some of the people on the call. We will be seeing you guys there. We're looking forward to it. Unfortunately, the event is sold out. We have close to 300 people that's going to be attending. If you're interested in joining, we do have a wait list for this year, but we are going to be doing this event again next year. We did it last year. It's backed by popular demand. We will be doing it again next year. So if you want to come, reach out to me, connect. You can get on our early bird guest list for Fast Track 2026. But to everybody else, we'll look forward to seeing you this Saturday. And on that note, thank you guys so much for spending that time with us and going through things. We'll look forward to seeing and talking to you guys again really soon.
Okay, thanks everybody. Have a